guys, today we're back with another video, and this is gonna be what is Naruto Embraced Hatred Part 2. Sorry about the fact that well the second one, it was the second, right? No, the first. This video does not have. Wait, never mind. I'm just gonna edit it, so it's gonna work. It's gonna work all out. Anyway, Naruto flew towards the hidden leaf. He was carried by the wind. His body felt incredible. My revenge starts now. He landed. He quickly flew above the village hidden leaves as he looked down to see the happy faces of thousands. It was their annual celebration of the day the Kyuubi's jailer left the village. But the day was shrouded in sadness for the thousands that had lost their lives by his hand. Naruto's Uzumaki chains, which were perfected by now, flew out of his body, reaching down towards the ground. They touched the ground. As they then went, they scattered through the system of caverns that lied under the village in the leaves. If these caverns had any contact with enough pressure, the whole entire hidden leaf village could collapse and fall into those underground caverns. Naruto smirked madly as he thought he could finally get rid of the Leaf Village. He could finally finish off it all, end all of his suffering. As then he thought of a great plan. He will attack the village 3 times, he thought. He'll wipe out many, but just enough to take down 100 of the people within the village each time. That was his plan. He wanted to build fear within their hearts, and he wanted to give them hope that the fourth Hokage was gonna always be able to stop Naruto. No, that the third Hokage was always gonna be able to stop Naruto. His plan was to give them a false set of hope. That beacon of hope, he wanted it to be destroyed. Naruto laughed out. As a villager, as an Ambu with very enhanced hearing, heard him. Then he looked up into the sky to see a young boy who was just floating above them, who had chains running out of his body. As he then thought, Uzumaki Naruto. He then flew towards the Hokage's office. As the Ambu bust through the door, Lord Third! Uzumaki Naruto has returned to the village, he said. As the third Hokage then went outside to see if he could greet him. And by the looks of it, it seems like he's planning to attack the village. As then the smirk that was on Hiruzen's face faded. It faded quickly. Naruto, I didn't want to have to do this to you, he said, as he then walked outside. As he looked up and grabbed onto his staff. If he was capable of killing that many, even Johnny last time, then he doesn't want to waste innocent lives by trying to take down Naruto. Naruto Naruto then said, "Reveal yourself, buddy." As then a person appeared beside Naruto. She had beautiful white hair, but if you stared at it for long, it quickly became transparent. In fact, she looked almost as if she was a ghost. The third Hokage then gasped. He couldn't speak. He heard Minato speak of descriptions of a girl who looked like sort of like with who was beside Naruto. She wore a white kimono that had pictures of gust of wind moving. Then Hiruzen. Then summoned Monkey King Emma, spun him around, and then shot him towards Naruto, while Monkey King Emma grabbed onto Hiruzen's hand and then switched backwards, shooting Hiruzen towards Naruto. And then Naruto said, "He's an old friend of mine. You can allow him to fly." Then the third Hokage felt light. He felt nauseous. But he started to move faster, as then he quickly realized that he can move in any direction. He flew up towards Naruto and floated within the air. Naruto then said, "Die!" He then said, "Wind style, rapid destruction." As the wind shot through the village at an alarming rate, it spun around the village with the winds tearing down houses. But the villagers didn't seem to be affected. But people around around 959 people died within with Naruto's one jutsu alone. "Perfect," Naruto said. But then he looked at the third Hokage. The third Hokage looked out to see the destruction that Naruto was causing. "I didn't want to have to do this." As then they got into a hardcore taijutsu bout. The power of the attacks and the noise coming off of them from how powerful the punches were alerted people to look up into the sky. They saw the Uzumaki being handled by the third Hokage quite easily. "Damn it," Naruto thought. "This is actually starting to hurt, but I have to make it seem like they have hope so that my plan may prevail. But then that's when Naruto thought, no, if I hurt my body, then they'll jeopardize the plan. And then chain armors wrapped around chain armor wrapped around his body. He smirked wildly. He fought back against Hiruzen. Hiruzen getting punched by an adamantium chain enhanced. Naruto quickly realized that his old body was very weak and fragile compared to Naruto's. Third, you supposed to be an Okage. As he punched harder, Hiruzen was seriously considering fainting from the strength of Naruto's punches. As then Naruto pretended like his adamantium chain armor took up too much energy. As he then jumped, no, actually flew back a little. Then his adamantium armor came off. He did a little wind style jutsu to gather up wind and compress it into water. So it looked like he was sweating. Wind, we're going now. As then Hiruzen started to fly towards them, as then wind stopped him by taking his power, his capability of flying, as he then flew away. After he got back to his base, he decided to create a group, an organization that would be capable of helping him realize his goals. So he went around, flying around villages, finding very, very, very powerful S-rank nin that were a little bit weaker than most of the Akatsuki members. Well, unknowingly to him. And we meet Kidimaru, who is coughing. As then he hears a loud noise. As then he feels Orochimaru's life force become alert. He then quickly rushed through the hideout, going towards Orochimaru's room to see Naruto. Someone who was encased in his adamantium armor, which was now colored, using very, very small chains, but just as powerful as the regular ones, to simulate a cloak over his body. He fought Orochimaru, as Orochimaru was quickly and swiftly overpowered by whoever this guy was. He jumped back. Who the hell are you? How did you get in here? Orochimaru questioned. That is for me to know and you to learn. All of the attacks will stop if you join my organization. I work alone. As Naruto launched his fist towards him, punching him, his body felt hollow. He flew back. Orochimaru, spitting up blood, and blood was clogging his airways. Shit! As he then spat out himself, his body, he could feel the damage because that's the problem with his jutsu. He could still feel the damage of what had happened to his body. He can still feel the pain of that, but his body is all new. And the damage stops and feeling painful once on like what it would originally be like. By the way, Orochimaru had no problems breathing, but he still broke. He still was breathing heavily. Who are you? Naruto then laughed. That is for me to know and you to not to know. Until you join my organization, I need people like you. S-rank nin who serve under me. The almighty Madara Uchi. I'm just kidding. Y'all thought. Anyway, the almighty Raikino Senju, the first son of Ashura, also Susuke. As then, Orochimaru asked him what was he talking about. I am Rakiso Senju, the first son of Ashura, also Susuke, and the strongest. My power even far surpass people like Maru Uchiha. I have been spectating for far too long, and I have one goal only: to destroy the village that hurt the reincarnation of my father, he said, looking at Orochimaru. Orochimaru was like, if I don't agree with him, I won't. As blood leaked out of his mouth, as he then looked down to see a hole plunged within his stomach. More pain would happen like that if you don't agree to join with me, Orochimaru said. Fine. As he then spat up himself. He still felt the pain. Right then, Kitamaru bust through the door. Shh! Lord Orochimaru! He said, to see a man standing right across from Orochimaru. He then quickly went in to attack him. Then Naruto said, get your servant, otherwise I will have to kill him. As he rose up his hand, ready to do damage. From his fingers leaped Uzumaki chains. Since I am the son of Ashura, also Susuke, I have the Keke Genkai of the Senju clan and the Uzumaki clan. As a wooden staff came out of his hand. Now This was, of course, he could not be a wood style user. He actually just fucking did an invisible seal on his fucking hand. Like, you really think that Naruto Uzumaki wouldn't have planned for this? Then he went for the other hand, creating a wooden sword. And then he resealed them quickly. So quickly that it seemed as if he was just using a style. Anyway, we shall go and find the other members of the organization. You shall take your flunkies with us, because we need weaker members for substitutes. If any member dies, they will assume training from me directly. Let's go. And then Naruto said, as a matter of fact, this hideout could be good. And then he had thousands of chains shoot out of his hands and fingers, wrapping around the hideout. It created a cloak. And then Naruto then said, but first things first, if you should know who the boss is. As he then sucked in the chains into its body, as the cloak disappeared. As he only sucked up certain chains. So it seemed like a grown man stood in front of him. Naruto had dyed his hair completely red, so no suspicion about him being the third Hokage's son could be aroused. So once he actually hits the age, his hair will not look different from what he looked like then. He also had used chains from enzymes to hide the whisker marks on his face. Very, very small chains though. Let's get started. We have a 1 month time skip. We will be starting our first missions now. And then Naruto summoned, as they had gotten 3 more members. Zabuza Mochi and Haku stood behind Naruto, with Orochimaru looking at Naruto's back. His infatuation with the Uchiha clan was quickly erased after the fight with him and Naruto. Now he wanted someone from the Uzumaki clan more than ever. This guy. He wanted someone from the Uzumaki clan. And since he already had Hashirama Senju's DNA, he would be capable of making a body, hopefully, just as strong as their leader's body. Or he could secretly take control over their leader's body. He wanted to take control over their leader's body, but his fear for the leader stopped him from doing so. Let's go. As we then saw one more person. This was Who do y'all think it is? I'm just kidding. Yagra. As we then have a flashback to see Naruto sneaking around Akatsuki headquarters. No, when sneaking around the Akatsuki's headquarters, as he then found within a cave very close to one of the Akatsuki's lairs, the body of Yagura lie there with his staff and all of his possessions just lying there. When carried him, as then Naruto put him within a coffin during the reanimation jutsu, but once he used the reanimation jutsu, he used another jutsu called no. He used a sealing contract that he didn't know that he was qualified to gain, but he was. Whose soul do you wish to trade for Yakuras? As in, as in, three to no, 85 souls came bursting out of his mouth of around A rank. Nin, will this be enough? Yes. Thank you, Shinigami, Naruto said. As he had a ceiling, he had a summon contract with the Shinigami race, as the Shinigami were a race that that were decided on which sector they should lead. A sector is the whole entire universe. So yeah. Anyway, and he had gotten a a sealing contract with the Shinigami boss because he had been he literally died and came he died for a brief moment around 80 80 to 220 times, somewhere within that range. Since the required amount was 80 to gain um the boss demon of death. In summoning the boss, you it requires a lot less souls regular than with the regulars because since the boss actually respects you, you know, and the boss can also be used in battle. Anyway, he revived Yagura. Yagura said, "Thank you. I will return to my village." Naruto then swiftly and quickly beat the living daylights out of Yagura and told him that he had to work for him now. Naruto walked outside of his mm-mm, headquarters, which will now be called the Shinigami Society. No, the Shinigami are Death Gods. The Shinigamis are Death Gods. That's was with the roof was called. The Akatsuki had noticed of their presence, but they noticed that they were moving subtly, slowly. The Akatsuki did not care that much, but they realized if they were capable of taking down the whole entire group, they'll have more people for the Akatsuki. So they sent out um, Kisame and Itachi to do the job on a mission, on an A rank mission. Naruto stood over the dead bodies of 18 Jonin, 2 Chunin, and that's all. Thank you, sir. Here's your payment. As he then handed Naruto around 20,000 yen. Thank you. Or I don't know how it will work, but basically within America, I'm gonna say that that's basically like $20,000. 20,000. I don't know how they money be working, but say that it's equivalent to ours because it's my what if. Then Kisame walked out of the clearing once Naruto was leaving. Hey you! As Naruto was bending down, getting ready to jump into the air, ready to fly. Naruto then looked over and said, "What?" As then Itachi came from behind, attacking Naruto with a kick. He caused Itachi quickly realized that his skin was extremely hard, so he flew back, trying not to show the signs that he had broke one of the bones within his leg while trying to kick Naruto. Naruto's chains, adamantium chains, would then react, sending a signal to Naruto's nerves. Naruto Naruto felt it as he then looked back. You just attacked me. You want to join? He then looked up, saying, "You have to join the Akatsuki." As I don't see Itachi. No, Itachi asked him, would he like to join the Akatsuki? Naruto then said bluntly, "No. If I defeat you, then you have to join the Akatsuki along with everyone who serves under you. If you defeat me, then our group will stop attacking you to get you to join the Akatsuki." By the way, our group, he did not mean the Akatsuki, he just meant their team, Itachi and Kisame. They then said, "I accept." As he then yanked down the cloak and the adamantium chains, once they came from his body, Naruto had made a section of his chains invisible, so it seemed as if they were completely not connected at all. Then, then it disappeared. All right, I'm ready for the fight. It's been boring ever since my organization was created. I've been bored. I've lacked a fight. As Naruto then flew toward Itachi, attacking attacking him head on. Itachi quickly realized that Naruto's punches were extremely strong. Itachi flew back with his arms feeling numb. God damn it, as he thought. He's been resisting my genjutsus. As we then have a flashback around when Naruto was 1 year after he left the village. Why have you been ignoring me? The nine-tailed fox asked Naruto. Because you are a demon. Huh. You basically just did the same thing I did, except on a lower scale. And so what? Naruto said. Anyway, we fight, he said. As they know, as Naruto then said, after fighting within the mindscape, since it was a tie, they agreed on one thing. Because the Nine Tails wanted to be acknowledged by the brats, he said any genjutsu that he was placed under, he'd just block it out. As Kurama was thinking of while inside the mindscape, he found out ways to block the the ultimate Tsukiyomi and other powerful genjutsu. But this was only with his host. As I don't understand why the Nine Tails can literally block the ultimate Tsukiyomi but can get controlled by Obito. Like once he with Naruto, he can block the ultimate Tsukiyomi, but you literally just cannot block. Like you tripping. That's what I'd be thinking. Like, but anyway, damn, he's too strong. Kisame, help me. As in, Kisame was already behind Naruto, ready to swing down his sword. His sword then hit Naruto's Uzumaki chains, and then Naruto flew back towards Itachi as he then quickly recovers his back. As Sami then said, "So you're not so tough when Samihara gets in the mix." As he then swung Samihara towards Naruto. No, it's just that you're awfully stupid to fall within my trap. And then everywhere around Kisame was then covered with chains. Hmm. I've lived I've lived way longer than you two bum idiots have ever lived. My immunity to ninjutsu has far surpassed any regular human. But I am the first Senju to ever live, after all. Itachi's eyes then darted towards Naruto. Rosano, Senju! Back, Kisame! As he then realized that Kisame was basically fucking trapped. He's gonna use his ultimate move. As then Itachi flew back farther back than he'd ever tried to get away from any opponent. As his hands was shaking. His leg was a little bit. His leg was a little bit broken, but he was already used to the pain. After all, he had endured the Mangekyo Sharingan. Naruto then looked at him with surprise. As he then read inside the textbook, Rose something, whatever his name was, Senju, the first Senju ever. A Senju capable of creating wood arcs so large that they covered the moon, that they could reach up to the stars, and some even touched the moon. His wood arcs were so powerful. His wood style just was incredible. And he was the only person besides Hashirama Senju to ever host such a powerful wood style capability. Naruto, Naruto. Then we go back a couple of weeks. You say this guy Hashirama Senju. Give me his cells, Orochimaru. Why? You already have Senju within you, don't you? Correct. But the bonding of Senju blood can cause incredible power-ups for any Senju. And then he injected Naruto with Senju blood. Well, Naruto injected himself, now trying to allow Orochimaru to see what he actually looks like under it all. Once injected, Naruto lifted up his chains as he then yelled out, "Piercing Moon!" As a ball that glowed like the moon appeared, and then it went up close to Kisame, flying slowly. No! Naruto, Itachi yelled out, "Not another comrade that dies!" Discarding the pain within his leg, the problems that he was facing, he came towards Kisame with all of his power, yanking him out of the chains, as Naruto then said. I'm bored with you. You can both leave. Oh, and you? As a chain then shot out of his hand and shot into Itachi's eyes. Itachi then closed and opened up his eyes again. He looked around. He could see clear as day. Everything was crystal clear. Clister. Everything was crystal clear. What? What? Itachi said. I can see. He blurted out loud in amazement. Bye. Both of you are far too weak for my taste. Naruto then quickly flew back to his base. Once he went inside, he collapsed to the ground in pain. Damn it. In that fight, the only thing holding me up was these chains. As he collapsed within his room, he then fell to the ground. As he used a powerful sealing jutsu to make sure that the doors did not open while he was knocked out. This is the end of this video. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the video. And that's pretty much all. Thank y'all for all the love and support that y'all have helped for me. If y'all wondering what happened to the regular Naruto and what happened to that thing where Naruto's anger beast since the start, mm-mm, since the start, he had locked up the evil Naruto within a cage. Within that cage, the evil Naruto was incapable of lying dormant. Once he left the village, that masked slash cage that locked up the evil Naruto was destroyed. Bye guys. Worship me for the end of the days.